Question for the men that say they never want to get married, which I totally.
Marriage rates in the United States from 1990 to 20.
Question for the men that say they never want to get married, which I totally get your reasoning. You don't want to get divorced and give up half your shit that you've worked your whole life for. Check, check. Got it. So my question is, for those men, do you live in a state that after 7 years of being in a relationship with someone, dating them, living together, you are married by law anyways? And then a two-part to that is, what about when you don't want to move into your girl's place? So you're like, hey, move into my place, right? So maybe she's renting her house out now and she has to move all of her stuff out, but you don't need it at your house because your house is already fully furnished. What is she supposed to do with her stuff? Because in your mind, if you get divorced, or I guess if you never get married, you guys break up, she would then have to then go rebuild, go rebuy all of the furniture. And as you know, it's always going to be more expensive to go rebuy the furniture you already had, that you had to go sell for pennies to the dollar. So what is your thought there? Do you get like a backup plan is, if we break up, then you have to help fund my furniture purchases because I had to get rid of everything when I moved into your place? Like, what is your guys' thought on this? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. Let's have a combo.
Stop it. Get some help.
The truth is simple. Modern marriage doesn't offer a man anything he can't already have by living together without signing papers. Marriage only gives her legal control and the option to walk away with a full bag if things go south. Moving in together? Take advantage and always choose what's in better condition. Sell or donate the rest. But the key is this: while you share a roof and expenses, never stop saving separately. A personal fund is essential. If the fairy tale ends, the one with cash survives without begging anyone for anything. And don't fall for the myth that she loses more. With half the expenses and zero pressure, women almost always end up saving more.
Marriage rates in the United States from 1990 to 2020. Here's a beautiful little graph for all you nerds out there like myself that like to see this stuff. Look at this decline from the 90s just to 2020 alone. Look how that drops off right there. And you can even see there in about 2016, 2017, red pill content. And then you see a huge, bigger decline. And this is a shout out to Bachelor Joker on X. This is Better Bachelor for those of you who know him on YouTube. I like this guy's stuff. I enjoy his stuff. So credit to him. And he says, self-explanatory why marriages are on the decline. Men are waking up and women are acting more entitled and less feminine. Thanks to TikTok and OnlyFools, it's easier than ever to see it. Do you agree with this? I think this is super duper interesting, but I know that men are waking up.
I don't celebrate male loneliness, but I'm not surprised that marriage is becoming extinct either. Men have woken up. They no longer want to enter a contract where the woman has every incentive to walk away and take half of what you built with sweat. They're tired of a deal where only one side wins. Modern feminism demands old-school gentlemen, but offers none of the feminine virtues that once upheld that arrangement. They want protection and money, but call you an oppressor if you expect reciprocity, care, or loyalty. And then there are the sky-high standards men are expected to meet just to get married. The so-called 666 of the apocalypse: 6 feet tall, 6-figure income, and a six-pack, just to end up with a broke, average woman. It feels unfair. That's why the marriage rate will keep dropping until a more balanced system is created for both sides.
Women.
I want to know from women over 35 if cohabitating with men is really worth it.
It's been said before, but I'll say it again. Marriage isn't really good for women. Women don't benefit from being married to men. The comment section on this video is full of women who say this, happily married here. And I say this without weirdness, but if he dies first and he knows this, LOL, I will not do it again. So many of the comments came from married women, women who claim to be happily married, who say they would never choose to live with a man again. And I think this speaks volumes about the dynamics that exist in our culture overall, right? When men get married, they expect their wife to take care of them, to cook for them, to clean for them, to take care of their children, to have children for them, and they go off and work. But in today's world, these women are also working. And so not only are they working full time, but they are also expected to care for the home and the children and do exponentially more work in the home than their partner. And oftentimes these men have been raised without the information or expectation that they'll take care of the home themselves or take care of the kids. And so even when they try to help, they need a list. They need her to tell him what to do. And it's exhausting for women. It's been shown that marriage isn't actually good for women. Women who are single do better than men. Also, having children isn't really good for women, right? We have the wage gap, the motherhood penalty, and the fact that having children can put women at a higher risk of financial troubles in the future, right? Marrying men, living with men, and having children doesn't quote unquote benefit women in the same way it does men, which is why so many women say they would never do it again. And that's also why so many men remarry so fast.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Let's break it down. Women are the ones most interested in marriage, not men. They pursue it because, in practice, they know being married brings stability and protection. That old claim that men never help out is just a tired lie. These days, most men contribute at home, and with today's technology, housework has never been easier. Tired from taking clothes out of the washer or pressing a button on the robot vacuum? Come on, that's convenience, not sacrifice. The idea that marriage doesn't benefit women doesn't hold up under serious analysis either. Most single women end up in poverty, while married women enjoy a higher quality of life. Why? Because marriage, like it or not, is still the best financial safety net for the average woman. The real issue is that many don't want to admit that the trade-off at home is compensated with security and access to resources they wouldn't have otherwise. And of course, if it were really that bad, why are so many still chasing it so desperately?
So I would love to get married again, but now it seems like men don't want to get married anymore. Like, why is this? Can't we just get a prenup and be happy and be married? I get it where there's so many people that just live together and they live a married life, but they don't actually get married. Are people at least getting rings still? So at least you can show like I'm taken when you're out and about if you don't want to get married. What is the real reason men don't want to get married anymore? Is it money? Is it they've already had half of their stuff taken from a divorce, so they're bitter? I'm really curious. I feel like the partnership that comes with marriage is just a little bit different than if you're just dating someone, because they can always cut bait and jump ship because there's nothing to lose. When you do have like skin in the game, I feel like people would be more apt to like work through challenges, try to figure it out to stay together, versus if you're never married, it's easier just to be like, okay, bye, and run away. But are guys really not wanting to get married anymore? Let me know in the comments.
Stop it. Get some help.
Here's the stat no one wants to talk about. Marriages with a prenup end in divorce only 15% of the time, but without one, that number jumps to 60%. Coincidence? I don't think so. And here's the kicker. 80% of the time, it's the woman who files for divorce, but when there's a contract in place, that number drops. Why? Because the financial incentive disappears. That's why whenever you mention a prenup, many women run for the hills. They're not interested in unconditional love. They want guaranteed access to your assets. If you get married without a prenup, you're not brave, you're naive. A prenup is the modern man's only real shield against divorce. It doesn't just split assets, it protects your future, your pension, your 401k, and keeps you from paying alimony. If she loves you, she'll sign it. If she won't, now you know who she really is. Someone who's only in it to profit if things go wrong. So open your eyes. In this system, The man who doesn't protect what's his ends up paying the highest price.
Women don't give a fuck about being married anymore. They have no interest in having a husband. They have dealt with enough men in their lifetime to say, I'm good. I don't want anything to do with this. I don't want no part of this. Y'all can have it. I choose peace. Women have got to a point in this world that they would rather not ever be married or not ever be near a fucking man again because they know that trauma, drama, bullshit, lies, excuses, and empty promises are attached to a man. They would rather live their lives in peace with their dogs and their cats and absolutely never have to deal with the bullshit a man brings to them. All the lies, all the bullshit, all the pain, all the sorrow, all the suffering. They don't want to deal with it anymore. They would rather be alone. They want to come home. They want to kick their shoes off from a day of work or wherever the fuck they've been. And they want to kick their shoes off. They want to go in the kitchen. They want to pour themselves a glass of wine, have a cocktail, have a sparkling water. They want to go to their couch. They want to kick their feet up. They want to watch their favorite show. Or they want to sit there and read a motherfucking book in peace and sit with their cat and their dog and not have to hear anything that a man has to offer or has to say to her. Women don't give a fuck about being married anymore. I love you. Hope this helps some of you.
In short, what women really want is to slack off at home. You know what the problem is with today's woman? She wants to be everything a man is. They reject everything feminine women used to do. When she says that taking care of a man means being at home doing things in her own house, what really bothers her is the idea of a man coming home tired from work and just sitting down. But that's the only part that bothers her. When you cover all her debts and expenses, especially credit card bills, and let's be honest, women in this country carry massive debt, then there are no complaints. But what she doesn't realize is that men are winning with this new mindset. Now you can date, each in your own place, and you're not responsible for supporting her or splitting anything 50-50. Honestly, I don't see where men are losing in this scenario.
Reason 33 why I will never be in holy matrimony again. I'm getting off work. Guess what? I'm not calling anybody and telling them I'm leaving. I'll be home in a little bit. I don't have anybody waiting on me. If I want to go and dilly-dally on the way home, I do. I dilly-dally. I don't have anybody to not answer to, but have to consider, I guess. And I like that. I like that a lot. There are so many reasons. This is just one little one. My drive home is not consumed with the thoughts of having to go home and regulate somebody else's emotions, to have to do something for someone else. So long we put ourselves on the back burner for other people, and I refuse to do that any longer. I will not do it. I won't be in holy matrimony ever again, and I'm loving it. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
It's easy to say, I don't owe anyone anything, until life sends you the bill. Because the day you have an accident, get sick, or loneliness hits you head on, that's when you'll feel the cost of not having someone in your corner when it really matters. Meanwhile, men are expected to give everything: protection, resources, emotional support. And we do it without complaining, fixing the house, paying the bills, and if needed, even giving our lives. But no one acknowledges that. On the contrary, all you hear today is how they don't want to deal with any man, as if male sacrifice were invisible. Selfishness rules, but the wall doesn't forgive. Because when you need someone the most, you'll realize that your so-called absolute freedom is also your greatest sentence.
I'm going to tell you something most of you don't know about men. When they're in their 50s and they've been married and they're dating, it's the worst era. And sadly, but truly, I've been through every era of men. And this is the age where they like to breadcrumb. They want pen pals because they've got their careers, they've got their sports cars, they've got their money, they've got their ex-wives, their kids, they're busy. They want to date, they want to get laid. But what they don't want to do is connect and communicate because they've somehow lost that skill in all the years of being married and just dealing with kids and sports and transacting and vacations and climbing in the corporate ladder. They haven't had to do much because the women handled a lot of the stuff at home. So they haven't had to deal with the emotional connection. So these guys, and I literally have like 10 examples. I was showing my friend, like they'll reach out as if they're madly in love with you. And then you respond normally, just like, yep, thanks, doing great. How are you? And then they dissolve until the next time they just want to surface. They are looking for adult pen pals that perhaps they could sleep with. And I literally sent someone a text saying this communications, this breadcrumb communication style doesn't work for me. If there's something you would like to ask for or need, please reach out. But otherwise,
Ma'am, at this point you're not in a position to demand commitment. You're closer to the coffin than the altar. Expecting a divorced man with kids who's already paid the emotional and financial price of a failed marriage to throw himself into marriage again, and with a 50-year-old woman no less, is living in a fantasy. That man has learned. Now he wants to protect what little he has left of his retirement, avoid another legal nightmare, and enjoy some life without drama or empty emotional demands. Of course, he's only looking for a girlfriend to date and be intimate with. He's not going to want to marry anyone just to end up in a second divorce, and worse, with a dead bedroom. So those men aren't cold, they're smart.
Here's my thing. 20, 30, and 40-year-old men are completely different creatures. And I just happen to prefer the 30 to 40-year-old creature. They're like the perfect mix of a little more mature than they were in their 20s, but still have a youthfulness to them that is familiar to me. Like, I would love to date a 60 or 70-year-old man because they're so wise. I love spending time with them, but that wouldn't work in a relationship because, lacking attraction probably, lacking youthfulness and stamina and all that. So alas, I am stuck with the 30 to 40-year-old, and I just find that I usually feel equal maturity, if not a little bit more mature than every man that I've dated that's about 10 years my senior. And I know that a lot of people see older men as a threat and have negative experiences or ideas about them, but just personally for myself, I've only ever had positive experiences, and I think they've only affected me positively. I've learned so much about life and about myself from them. And in general, they just end up being the men I fall in love with because I relate to them a little bit better because their self-awareness level seems to be more similar to mine than a man in his 20s. And I've always been drawn to older men, like dating a 26-year-old when I was 15, which was crazy. But there is just something that's so exotic and fascinating about someone who has survived on the planet 10 years longer than you have, and all the stories they can tell you in past tense instead of having to experience all their mistakes with them in their 20s when they most likely would have mistreated me because they didn't know how to act. They were young. And the more I think about it, I feel like my childhood really influenced this because I grew up among all boys. I have one little brother and that's it. And then all of our family friends were big families of only boys. And so even though I had friends at school, I could never hang out with my girlfriends outside of school. So we never got that close. And I never really had a really close girlfriend until late high school. It was always boys. And then on top of that, my family threw dinner parties all the time. And so there would be 60, 70-year-old men around our dinner table almost every other night having discussions with me and telling me stories. And those are some of my most treasured memories from childhood. And I've just always loved that feeling of being told stories by someone who's older than me. So
Brothers, don't forget, a man hits his prime between 28 and 45. It's the stage where you have clarity, strength, and you've started to accumulate real value, money, experience, and presence. It's the golden decade where you can build the legacy you want and, at the same time, you have real options in the dating market. Young women know it. They can tell the difference between a lost man and one who's mastered himself. Masculinity, confidence, and experience become magnetic. So if you're in that range, don't get distracted or waste your energy. Invest in yourself, your body, your wallet, and your mindset. This is your time. Don't waste it trying to please those who don't deserve it or chasing someone else's fantasy. A high-value man chooses, he isn't chosen. And the more you invest in yourself, the clearer that becomes.
Older men don't want older women. I have a hard time believing that older men genuinely see younger women and think, this is my romantic equal. Yeah. Like, I don't think you think that about a 22-year-old, sir. Winston, Charles. I agree. Think back if you can. Don't say anything out loud. Just think about what you were doing at 21. Don't say nothing. See, look at your face. Look at your face. You see what I'm talking about? You don't know yourself enough. You're naive. You're immature. You have no business dating somebody who can buy houses and such.
This is the problem with many modern women. They think all men are dumb or can't see the game. They want a successful man to value them when they've already hit the wall, carrying bags full of trauma, poorly digested empowerment stories, and one eye on his assets. The reality is simple. A woman's best stage, in terms of fertility, feminine energy, and open mindset, is between 23 and 28. In that range, many haven't yet been damaged by life or poisoned by the throwaway culture. And of course, if they're looking for stability, they'll be drawn to the kind of man who's already built something. And what does that man value? A woman who brings him peace, who can give him children, loyalty, acts of service, and a home. He's not looking for a rival, nor a therapist with unhealed wounds. That's why many men walk away without looking back from those who show up late with demands, resentment, and a hunger for someone else's wallet. It's not coldness, it's wisdom, because the one who builds has the right to protect what he's earned.
Women.
Just a heads up for those girls who call themselves liking older guys and they want to date men that's older than them. Sis, the men are strict. They don't play. I came home last night at 12. I woke up this morning. You would have thought like I was in real big trouble. My man said I was out of line and that was inappropriate and I shouldn't have come in the house 12 o'clock at night. He told me no woman is outside at 12 o'clock at night. I had no business out there. Like, he was pissed. Like, he's still pissed. Like, he's not even like really talking to me right now. He kind of giving me like the cold shoulder. So before you go messing with them grown men, since they not the ones, don't go over there trying to play. Cause he ain't going for it. If you think you finna get away with little stuff, they are disciplined and they have structure in their lives. Don't go over there playing with that man. He not gonna allow you to do it. Now I don't know how I'm gonna make this up, but I won't be coming in the house 12 o'clock no more.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
A man who commands respect will always be loved by a woman, because we all know that responsibility is kryptonite for women. But having your rules as a man makes her understand where your red lines are. Don't hold back as a man from telling your woman what you don't like. If she wants to live like a single woman while in a relationship, then she's better off staying single. This goes both ways, because I guarantee she also has her boundaries. No man is going to accept his woman being out on the street at midnight, whether it's for safety or out of respect. What is a married woman doing out at that hour? The same applies to men. Notice how she says her husband has his rules and makes his limits clear. That makes her respect him and also sends a warning to others. You don't play games with men like this. If you try to get slick, he'll drop you. A man who respects himself will always be valued.
I'm not really into the whole Daddy Trump thing. I just think it's personally kind of lame. But the funniest part about Trump attending the NATO summit and having all these world leaders calling him daddy is the way that the left is going to react to it. They're going to say, oh, well, Trump's just a big baby. This is what they have to do to inflate his ego and make him feel good when he attends these world events. Like, yeah, sure, maybe. Or maybe people just respect him and that just pisses you off. Like, really think about it. Trump is out here shaking hands, cutting deals. Like, he literally got NATO to invest billions of dollars in global defense, something that they said they would never do. Like, you guys saw those posts on X about France and Germany expanding their budgets, right? I hate to break it to you, but these world leaders are not treating Trump this way because he's throwing tantrums. They're treating Trump this way because he has leverage. Like, Trump has been flexing on the global stage, okay? He has been making trade deals wherever he goes. He's been making peace deals wherever he goes. Like, he literally stopped Iran from continuing their nuclear program. Like, whatever he's doing, it's working. And the left's problem is that instead of grappling with and trying to understand why Trump has this type of pull, they immediately get all in their feelings and start screaming things like dictator and authoritarian and narcissist. Like, I hate to break it to you, but like, daddy energy does not come from being a pushover. It comes from commanding the room. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party cannot get their voter base to agree on any single issue. Not one single issue can they all unanimously agree on. Yeah, the real tea is that the left is mad that Trump is getting respect that they can't pull off. And instead of stepping up with any type of better game plan, they always default to like whining about his ego. Like, newsflash, no one cares about your rants on TikTok and on X when real world leaders are playing chess and you're playing feelings. So maybe stop crying about daddy and figure out why Trump is beating you guys at diplomacy and you guys are still stuck in the comment sections.
It's funny because it's true.
Brothers, biology doesn't lie. A woman will always be drawn to the strong man. It's been that way since the beginning of history. What's interesting is that many of these women, whether they're feminists, progressives, or Democrats, reject right-wing men in their speech. Men who take care of themselves, who radiate masculinity. But in practice, those are exactly the men they're most attracted to. Just look at the Trump phenomenon. They can't stand him, but they respect him. Why? Because a man who walks into a room and dominates without saying a word carries presence. Andrew Tate said it clearly. Among men, you can feel who the most dangerous one is. And in politics, Trump is that. He doesn't need emotional approval. He has power. He has direction. And even his haters recognize that, with anger. And here's the interesting part. Many women who live by liberal narratives end up embracing tradition when they're in a relationship with a truly masculine man. They like feeling feminine in front of a masculine man. And that's something many married women already understand. Because desire doesn't follow ideology. It follows hierarchy.
If you are feeling single and scared, if you're 28, 38, 48, 68, we're here to tell you that it's going to be okay. It is going to be okay. There's some things that you can really focus in on your life that has nothing to do with waiting for the right partner to come along. Things like, okay,
Like, absolutely nothing.
like shopping.
Your life is doomed.
Yeah. And if you are single and scared at any age, I'm 39.
I'm 39 as well.
There's really no reason to be afraid. When we were your age, however old you are, there was no one on the internet that we could look up to that was single, childless, not married, not engaged, that was really living like this big, beautiful life and that was doing it independently and on their own. I thought at the age of 25, 30, 32, that if you were 38, 39 and single, like, what's wrong with you? What's gone wrong?
Is she a red flag?
Yeah. I think it's a bigger red flag to jump into a marriage, which is crazy. It's a contract between two people that doesn't always turn out well. For people to say like, well, it shows commitment. Like, does it? I think this relationship shows commitment. We've been friends for 12 years. I have friends that I've known since I was in 5th grade. That shows commitment. I've had dogs that I keep until they pass away. That shows commitment.
And it shows a commitment to yourself. Like, you don't want to settle. Like, you know what makes you happy. And if someone comes into my life and they don't better my life, I just would rather be single until I find that right person.
It shows discernment to remain single. It shows a lot of strength.
Every year goes by, I get to know myself a little bit better and I'm more comfortable with myself. My identity becomes stronger.
So if you feel like you're struggling or you're sad or you're scared, hopefully this can give you a little bit of reprieve or a little bit of hope or just something that like we didn't have.
Take your time.
Yeah, take your time.
The wall doesn't forgive, brothers. The best thing you can do is care for each other, because both of you are spinsters. This is where the saying applies. Tell me who you hang out with, and I'll tell you who you are. You're keeping each other single. One thing I noticed is that when she tries to come up with valid reasons to justify why she's still single past 35, almost 40, she can't find any. Apparently, for her, a married woman can't go shopping or get to know herself. These are the kind of women who are always saying things like, raise your standards, don't settle for less than you deserve. And now they're lonelier than the sun at noon, because they've already hit the wall. And as we all know, the wall doesn't forgive.
Where are my 30 plus people who've never been married and don't have any kids? Like, we all need to link up right here. What's up? I just want to let the world know that we exist. People think we're non-existent. And no, we're here. I just got home from work and I'm making myself a little matcha here at the house. Because why not? I'm not married. I ain't got no kids. I'm literally about to drink this little matcha and then call it a night. At 5 p.m., yes, sir. Like, come on now. Shower, do my little skincare, and then, move on to my bed. Maybe watch something, have some dinner, takeout. In peace, in silence, without having to worry about anything. Just enjoying myself. Yes, yes. What are you guys doing? I love this era that I'm in, by the way, because it's all about enjoying where you are right now. It's all about enjoying the season that you're in. And if you're in this season right now, like I am, you better enjoy that. You better enjoy yourself because you don't know when it's going to be the time that you get pregnant or when it's going to be the time that you're married and your time is no longer just for you, which is fine. Enjoy yourself, have some fun. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy whatever day you are watching this. Have your little coffee. Have your glass of wine. Have whatever it is that you want. Because can nobody tell you what you can and cannot have? You see me? You see me. Yes. Cheers to that. Cheers to us. Y'all have a good Friday out there. Y'all enjoy yourselves.
Stop it. Get some help.
These women forgot what truly matters, the value of building a family. They spend their lives creating a bubble of individual comfort that leaves no room for a man. And of course, once they're past 30, they're so conditioned not to give up even an inch that any attempt at a relationship feels like a threat to their control. A woman with a steady income, her own apartment, and set routines isn't looking to add someone. She's looking for someone to adapt. And if the man doesn't come with a checkbook bigger than hers, he simply doesn't qualify. It's not love they're after, it's status. That's why, while they climb the corporate ladder, their list of potential partners keeps shrinking. Not because there aren't good men out there, but because they've stopped seeing with clear eyes. Because they never stop to ask themselves whether the problem isn't that there are no good men, but that they no longer know how to receive one. And it goes on like that, until they hit the wall, because the wall doesn't forgive.
If you are single and scared and you're 28, 38, 48, we're here to tell you, don't be. It's okay. It's okay. But I turn 39 in a few days. 39, turning 40 in June. We are currently in Costa Rica and we just got done ziplining and we just had a fabulous meal. And we're here to say, like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Whether you're 30 and single, whatever it may be. Cultivate your girl friendships, work on your family relationships, focus on dating if that's really important to you, but that does not need to be the focal point of your life. And nothing is wrong with you if you're in our position. Every single year it's progressively gotten better. Better job, better at my career. I feel like we both had blow ups. And I mean, if you looked at me when I was 30, I feel like I look so much better. I'm healthier, happier. We didn't have anything like this when we were your age. I was terrified, but also unwilling to settle. Yeah. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of perspective. Feel free to drop any questions because we're about to be together for the next week. Thank God.
God makes them, and the wall brings them together. The big question is this: if they're really so happy, Why are they always telling others, don't be afraid? Why so much effort trying to convince younger women that being single at 28, with no kids and no partner, is some kind of victory? Don't be afraid, they say. Don't settle for an average man. Don't open yourself up to love. Just work, travel, and sip your matcha. Just wait another 10 years and you'll be like us. 38 or 39, no kids, no partner, wandering the world aimlessly. But don't worry, nothing's wrong. What they never tell you is that while you keep postponing real life, that average man you look down on is stepping into his prime. He has options. He has clarity. And if he wants, he can start fresh with a younger woman, someone more open and without that backpack full of excuses. And if a woman sees this, she should be afraid, because the wall doesn't forgive.
Women.
A lot of men already are losing so much interest in dating. A lot of men won't even date anymore, period. And if we keep treating men the way that we currently do, this is gonna be just a normal thing. All the men who still have hope and are still dating are just gonna stop. We need to come to a middle ground so everybody can be happy in relationships and no one feels used or taken advantage of.
It's funny because it's true.
Feminists planted this crisis, and now they're shocked by the harvest. If you turn approaching a woman into a legal, social, and emotional risk, did you really expect men to keep playing that game? Back then, everything was simpler. The man courted, the woman chose, and if there was mutual interest, a relationship began. But now it's all a trap. If you look at her the wrong way, harassment. If you approach her, intrusion. If you speak directly, toxic masculinity. And on top of that, they hit you with a list of demands they don't even meet themselves. The result? Men walk away. And when that man focuses, improves himself, travels, and meets women outside the West, women who value men, family, and stability, he realizes something brutal. Over there, he's welcomed. Here, he's treated with suspicion. The problem was never the man. It was the system that made him the enemy. That's why men no longer beg, fight, or insist. They leave. And meanwhile, those women still don't understand why they're alone. Simple. They burned the bridge, and now they don't know how to swim.
You know what your only power move is against that fucking man that keeps hurting you, the toxic man that is just the piece of shit of your life? You know what your only power move is? And fuck, I keep seeing girls not doing this, and oh my god, be eerily unbothered about it. To the point where they're like, does she even care about me? Just have a laugh about it. He's gone off with other girls? Have a laugh. Ain't me, bitch. There has to be a line that you draw in the sand between allowing yourself to be sad and taking a step over that line and being like, okay, but we've got to get the fuck on with it. Because what? I'm going to spend my life being miserable over this dude? For what? One fucking dude? No, babe. Use that pain and let it draw inspiration for something great into your life. Like, every man that has ever fucking hurt me, I've gone and I've evaluated it and I've reflected and they were tests. Now I view them as lessons. I view them as experience.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
These types of women who go out with chads, men who bring nothing real to the table, get hooked on the dopamine these guys give them, but then act outraged when the chad behaves according to his nature and leaves them. I have to point out that nowadays there seems to be an unwritten rule. A man is not allowed to leave a woman. Only she has the right to close cycles, to heal, to prioritize herself. But if a man steps back and leaves, he's a coward, a traitor, immature. Instead of jumping from bed to bed, chasing the same mistake with a different face, she should be questioning her own tastes. The most ironic part is that there's no self-reflection. They never say, I chose him. I opened the door. But admitting that would take a level of maturity they're not willing to reach. That's why they end up at the wall, because the wall doesn't forgive.
We've been married 8 years now, and we've got a little boy who just turned 2. My wife, she's an incredible mom. She really is. But ever since the pregnancy, she never bounced back. She used to crush half marathons, meal prep Sundays, the whole thing. Now it feels like food is the only thing that lights her up. She's up, I don't know, 60, maybe 65 pounds. And I hate even saying this, but I hardly recognize her anymore. I'm 40, still at the gym 5 days a week. And when we're out together, I catch myself wondering what people must be thinking. The attraction, it's just gone. I've tried everything, offering to watch the baby so she can work out, buying her new running shoes. She either laughs it off or gets defensive and says, I'm supposed to love her no matter what. Thing is, we can afford a nanny, trainers, time and money aren't the problem. It's like she's given up and I don't know how to reach her. I'm terrified that if nothing changes, I'll check out for good. I need to know what to do before I blow up everything we built.
Oh, hell no!
This is one of the hardest conversations a man can have with a woman. When I saw this video and read the comments, all the women were blaming him for going to the gym 5 days a week. But taking care of your own body is something separate from your relationship. This man is going for 45 minutes to an hour out of the 24 hours in a day. They all blame him for not loving unconditionally, but he's offering everything so she can get back on track. The guy pays for a nanny, offers help around the house, is present for his child, works, and still, it's not enough. She refuses therapy, refuses to make any changes, but somehow it's his fault for daring to invest in himself. Still, women blame him, as if being responsible for your own life is a bad thing. Then comes the talk about mental stress, but the guy is taking care of the child, working, and also has to take care of his wife, who's eating at a pace that, if she keeps going, that child is going to end up without a mother. So if there's a woman watching this video, tell me, how can a man even have this conversation with his wife? Or is there any solution?
I'm going to be really vulnerable. I reached my breaking point. I have been a single mom, whether I've been a single married mom or just a single mom, for 4.5 years. And for 4.5 years, I have carried the load of more than one person. Like, I want to give my kids the best childhood that I possibly can, but I cannot do that alone. One person cannot provide all of the love, all of the comfort, all of the food, all of the money, all of the shelter, all of the clothes, all of the self-control that is needed to raise a child, let alone 2 children. My kids are 2 and 4, and when I am with them, it is constant. My 4-year-old is constantly talking to me. My 2-year-old is constantly touching me, like hitting me on accident, kicking me, like always has to be touching me. If I sit down to eat, she wants to eat my food. I cannot regulate myself 24/7. I have not slept through the night in nearly 3 years. 3 years straight. I have not slept through the night. My 2.5-year-old has not slept through the night. My 4-year-old will wake up and need me in the night. And I work 40 hours a week. 40 hours a week. I go to work and I have to hire help. And that is going to financially take away from me. But there's no way around this. There's no way around this. And I just am like, my fuse is shorter. I am snapping at my kids. I have yelled and like, I don't spank my kids. And the 20th time I hear my name within 1 minute is like, it's too many. It's too many times for someone to say mama, and there's no emergency. There's no emergency. And I'm trying to cook dinner, and my youngest peed her pants, even though she knows where the potty is. And my 4-year-old accidentally knocked something over that broke, and I have to make sure it's not glass, and the water is boiling over. And we have to get to gymnastics by 6:30. And the time has come where I have realized this is too much. My mom works full time. My dad is not in the health where he can help. My other mom friends work full time and they have their own kids. I'm the only single mom that I know in my situation.
I'm just going to say it. Being a parent isn't easy. But if you have 2 kids, and I don't even know if they're from the same baby daddy, why didn't you stay with your partner? If you had stayed with your husband, your workload would be cut in half. But I'm sure you found a reason to leave him, wanting to be the strong, independent woman. You were probably one of those who used to say that all the household burden fell on you when you were married, but now you're really carrying it all on your own. I think you thought, my parents will help me, because that's what most women actually think, that their parents will lighten the load. Now that you don't have that, you're complaining about adult decisions. But let's keep going.
I don't have time for therapy. What are we going to talk about? All the people in my life that aren't going to therapy? That's what I did in therapy, is I sat there and I talked about all the people that are fucking toxic and refuse to get the therapy that they need. So I stopped going to therapy. I don't want to pay for that either. I love my kids so much that it physically pains me when I'm away from them. But when I'm with them, I need help. I need another me, you know? So I have 2 interviews with 2 potential sitters. And I am so optimistic that this will help me, because I see the moms waking up at 5 a.m. to work out before their babies are up. Well, guess what? If I woke up at 5 a.m., here they would come. They would be like, Mama's up. I can smell it. I can sense it. I'm up. That's not an option for me. You guys, like, everyone on the internet sees the choices people make, but they don't see the options people have. Okay? And if you're someone who's out here like, oh, you chose to have kids, like all of this, you don't know what you're talking about. Who's going to take care of you in 40 years when you are in the nursing home? My child. My child that's a nurse. Like, we can't just stop having humans, you know? I didn't have a baby. I had a human. I had someone that's going to be an adult and contribute to this society. My rant is over for now. But if you see a mom in the grocery store having a hard time, that's a fucking superhero right there. Moms are having hard times. And especially with like everything else like going on in the world that we have no control over, and we're always trying to control what we can in our home and like love our kids and give them the best childhood. We just have a lot. The load is really heavy. And I just want you guys to know that, and you're not alone. And I have to remember that, you know? I hope this helps you. Because part of the reason I made this channel is to help someone else, you know? Like, I didn't make my YouTube for just fun. I wanted to find people that I could connect with and that I could relate with and that, like, knew that just get it. And I hope this video has that reach. And I think I'm going to schedule crying. I think I'm going to schedule some time to cry this week. And yeah, so be nice to moms. Be nice.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Rather than just being kind, it's better to tell them to learn how to be responsible. A woman really has one major decision to make in life: choosing the man she'll have children with. Women go through several boyfriends before picking someone, and most of the time, they end up choosing the guy who's going to leave them as a single mom. And many times, it's not even that they chose a man like that. It's that they themselves end up destroying the relationship. We're talking about a woman with 2 small kids, close in age. If both kids are from the same father, then she probably had a stable relationship. If they're not, then she never knew how to choose wisely. If women put as much effort into keeping a home as they do into complaining about the one they have, there wouldn't be so many single mothers by choice. Like I said, you make the decisions, so you're the one who has to live with them.
Women.
If you withhold money from the mother of your child, or you don't pay child support, or you don't provide for your child to intentionally make the mother of your child struggle, you're not just making the mother of your child struggle, you're making your child struggle as well. As you see, a lot of you men will leave the mother of your child and then get mad because you no longer have control over her. You can't lie to her, gaslight her, manipulate her, cheat on her. Whatever you were doing in the relationship, you can no longer do to her. And when a lot of you start to see that you're not getting a reaction from her and you can no longer affect her or control her, you'll start to withhold the money that is meant to take care of of your child just to hurt the mother of your child. Let me tell you something, regardless of how much money the mother of your child makes, regardless if your child has everything your child needs, if they're living a perfect life without you, your financial support will go a long way. So if you're leaving the mother of your child to do everything by herself, to intentionally make her struggle because you no longer have control over her now that you're not together, I do hope at some point in time y'all start to realize that you're not just making the mother of your child struggle, you're making your child struggle as well.
Stop it. Get some help.
The truth is, when a relationship ends, especially if it ends badly, like yours did with your ex, the man really doesn't care about your life anymore. Now he only wants what's best for his child, but what happens to you doesn't concern him. This woman is always complaining about money, even though she only has one child, and she's asking for over $1,500 a month in child support. Of course, the father realizes that not all that money is going toward the child. And in another video, she says the mother has complete freedom to use that money however she wants. So which is it? Child support has become a business. Thankfully, Trump changed the game for men.
We've been married for 5 years now. We've got one little girl. She's 3, and I love being a dad. Thing is, 2.5 years ago, my wife said she was, done with diapers, done with pregnancy. She kept saying her career in real estate was finally taking off and another baby would set us back. So she pushed for a permanent fix. I wasn't totally sold. I mean, I always pictured at least 2 kids, but she was pretty firm. And I guess I wanted to make her happy, so I went ahead and got the vasectomy. Fast forward to last month. I mean, she's nauseous, tired all the time. Does a test, boom, pregnant. And I'm standing there thinking, wait, what? She laughs and says, there's still that tiny chance after a vasectomy. Here's the part that's eating me alive. She's on the road a lot, showing houses in different cities, overnight conferences, that sort of thing. And there's this one coworker, she calls him her closing partner. They're always FaceTiming, inside jokes, the whole deal. I never worried before, but now my brain's spinning. I keep repeating in my head, do I just, trust the odds and celebrate? Or do I suggest making a DNA test? So that's where I'm at. I have no idea what the right move is. Do I swallow the doubt and be the supportive husband? Or do I risk hurting her feelings and ask for the test? Any guidance would honestly mean the world right now.
Hell to the no, no. Hell no.
If I were this man, I'd get a sperm count and a DNA test. Just look at the wife's reaction. After the first daughter, she didn't want any more kids. She was fed up. So what changed now? Why is she so calm about this pregnancy, suddenly open to having another child? It's not just that she had it with a man she liked. Her partner, she's going along with it so the husband doesn't suspect anything. Women who work in real estate, especially if they're constantly traveling, are on the list of careers with the highest rates of cheating. If I were that man, I'd get the test, either secretly or by telling her. If she wants to leave me, that's her problem. But I have the right to know the truth, because raising another man's mistake for 18 years is not in my plans.
Women.
Do you find yourself asking yourself this question a lot, but you are no closer to an answer? If yes, then you are not alone. Sometimes it can be really difficult to work out why you're single. So let me do some top reasons why you are still single and searching. So number 1, you are not prioritizing dating. And you might think that you're prioritizing dating by having like a few swipes on a dating app or sending a few messages. But if you're not actually prioritizing dating and making it an important part of your life, you're unlikely to meet someone in this day and age. 2, you have low self-esteem. This is a problem for a lot of men, especially older men and women, of course. If you have low self-esteem, women can sense that. And a lot of women do not like that, I'm afraid. Not all women, but a lot of women don't like men with low self-esteem. So maybe try working on like building up your self-confidence. Number 3, your standards are too high. Are you setting your standards too high?
Obviously, it's a good idea to have standards. We're not saying that you should just date any old person that will have you, but maybe have a look if you're like prioritizing looks too much. Maybe go for personality more. And finally, you've just not met the right person. For most people, and I'd say that, and hopefully that's the same case for you, maybe you've just not met the right person yet, and you just need to kind of keep push through all the scammers, all the women with fears of intimacy, all the women that aren't good enough for you, and just wait until you meet the right person. And there you have it. Have a great day.
You know why so many women are alone? Because they go through life thinking they're the prize, as if just by existing, they deserve a high-value man. But my marketing professor taught me something I'll never forget. The customer doesn't care if your product is good, they care if it solves a problem. And it's the same with today's man. He's no longer buying a pretty face. He's looking at what a woman brings beyond her body or that diva attitude. That whole raise your standards narrative, no one's buying it anymore. They want a lot, offer very little, and then play the victim when they end up alone. A woman who thinks she's too good to support a man ends up aging alone. Because today, men aren't looking for untouchable goddesses. They're looking for women who add value, who walk beside them, not someone who demands but brings nothing to the table. And if you don't adapt to that, well, welcome to the wall, because the wall doesn't forgive. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What would you advise that man to say to his wife? Do you think he needs to get a DNA test? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.